Yeah, I'm not wearing a mic right now, but I forgot to mention the backup camera. That's pretty awesome as well. This thing's awesome. Hey buddy, it's Peter, and this is the 2026 Can-Am Defender Limited, but this is the HD11 for 2026. They have an all-new platform on the Defender, and I've said in the past in the 2025 model that there really is a Defender for everyone, and it was probably one of my favorite, just most versatile units that just did everything really well. And then they bring this out and it does everything better. So what we're gonna do in this review is a bit of a hands-on approach. We're not gonna go over every spec, but I will be listing some specs, but I'm gonna take you in, take you around, give you a sense of what this is. And of course, I'm filming here at Extreme Torque Motorsports, where they give me complete access to their entire vehicle lineup. So if you have questions beyond this kind of introduction or this type of thing, by all means, let me know the things you wanna know, and maybe just hit that subscribe button if this is the kind of thing you're interested in. That also helps Torque know that you're happy with this, and hit the like button. And if you like what you're seeing and you want to see some more, just find a few videos you like, watch them to the end. That really helps me grow. The more I grow, the more access I get to stuff like this. Big long introduction. You came to see this, let's show it to you. So before we go too far, I do want to point out that there are accessory fender flares on here and accessory mirrors. This unit was pre-sold before it even arrived here, so they didn't change wheels or anything else, but there are just those two accessories on here that I know of. If there's something else that's added that I maybe missed, I do apologize, but as far as I know, it's just a little bit extra fender flares and the mirrors that are on it new. So let's put this briefly in a class. As I said, there really is a Defender for everyone. This can be a sport model for some people, but generally speaking, it's a work model that is very sport capable. And that's what you're gonna find with this HD11 model, is that it's really kind of upped that sport and it's upped that work category, and it does that through technology. So the way this thing is better is really some of the ways that you can, see when we hop inside. We'll show you some of the pieces there. Good controls, there's a touchscreen display in there, which again, may not be what everybody wants, but I think when you're spending this much money, this is like, compact car kind of money, you do want to have a level of automotive type feeling in this. And you already get that here with these great ceiling doors. You've got climate control inside, improved climate control as well. So it was quiet before, it's quieter now. It's just a lot of good things are going on here. More capacity, more wheel travel, all kinds of things that you would want. And remember, the Defender was already very good. This is just better, more good, more better. More better is what this is. So let's start at the front, we'll work our way through. So let's start with some of the things that you see but you may not notice. First of all, updated lighting here. There are the LED lighting and there's marker lights that are currently off right now, so don't worry if you can't see that, but there is revised styling in this. You also have the windshield here, of course, and it can lift up so you can have an open air experience in there. We'll show you some, or we'll talk about some of that as we head inside. Out here you've got a winch out front, 4,500 pound winch, and you can see this is actual steel. This is not decorative. This is made to work. So you've got that strong, front plate there. Your wheels are basically out at the very front. The only thing that comes in front is this bumper here, which I'm not sure if it's an accessory or not. I feel like it might be, and they may not have pointed out to me, but if it's not, it's really high quality stuff. But underneath here, all solid stuff. You also have, this is the kind of thing you don't see, very strong, large diameter suspension and steering components here, and that's one of the things that you don't see from pictures and video, but I can tell you that they are very good. The suspension on this is preload adjustable, but it's not like a crazy high-end sport unit, so if you're really looking for a top-of-the-line sport, there are other models within the Can-Am lineup, but I would argue that this does give you far more sport than the average working unit, and it still does all the work that you would want it to do. A couple things worth noting: 14 inches of ground clearance, 12 inches of suspension travel front and rear, and again, the wheels are right out to the edge, so approach and departure angle are fantastic. So we're going to show you in the cab of this. This is the Max, the 4-door version, but I want to show you a couple things here. First of all, your gas fill is right there. You've got the dump bed right there. The other thing you have is a little step right here, so you can kind of get into the bed, get into things if you needed to. You could step right there, which is kind of nice to have. So those are just little things. Of course, this is a dump bed. It's quite easy to pull, as I struggle to pull it because I was pulling here, not here. You have to pull on the bottom side there. As we put it down, and that's a little harder to do if you're on the wrong angle. That is a dump bed that holds 1,000 pounds. The other nice thing about it is you have a new raised handle back here, which we'll show you in a second. You can be rough on these. It holds 250 pounds. I'm 175, so I can easily jump on this. So 1,000 pounds of weight in the bed. 250 pounds of that can be right there on the tailgate. It's built tough, and again, it's still fun. Let's go around the back. We'll talk about some of that capability, and then we'll hop inside. Taking a look at the back end here, you do have the hitch built in, of course. That's pretty typical for a Defender. And again, the stuff that doesn't show up on camera that does show up in person. These are, again, very large bars that have some wax on them, the cleaning wax. It's very slippery. They made it shiny up nice for me. Anyways, you have those bars. Of course, they're tilted down here, so they got extra ground clearance through the middle. Like I mentioned, the 12 inches of suspension travel. There are very large shocks here. The other thing is you have towing capacity of 2,500 pounds, so that's good towing capacity. We're going to talk power and specs in a second, but again, just looking at the back, I should say that the wheels are just a hair inside the back of the bed. So that's, again, that departure angle that's going to be really, really good. If you're backing up onto something, you just got to get that traction. You're not going to hit your tailgate. You got lots of room. So a lot of good stuff for working here. Let's talk about performance, and we're just going to mention tire size before we go too far. So while the tires kind of look the same size in video, they are 30 by 9 by 15. So 9 inches of width, 30-inch diameter, 15-inch rim. This one here is a larger. So the rear wheels are an extra inch of width, 10 inches of width. So basically the same size, except you got an extra inch of width in the back. And that, again, helps you with this dump bed, helps you with the weight that's on the back, gives you extra traction on the primary drive wheels from the front. So we're going to talk about power, and we're going to talk about how that power works as we hop inside. Let's do that right now. So heading inside this, I got to talk about the engine, because we're going to talk about how this engine is all controlled through some of the electronics. You have an HD11 triple. The triple indicates that it is a 3-cylinder engine, and of course that's mounted in the back there, and that is 95 horsepower, 70 foot-pounds of torque, but it's combined through a pretty advanced system here, and that's really what we're going to talk about as we jump in. So jumping in, we're going to point out a few things. First of all, very comfortable seats. You can see 3 in the front here, and you can see 3 in the back right there as well. We got a little bit of a wide angle camera going, so it's skewing the view just a little bit. The front opening doors make it very easy to get in and out of here, and of course you got the seat belts all up there. One thing you're going to notice, I don't know if you'll hear it because I'm wearing a mic as I jump in here. As we shut this door here, you maybe not be able to tell that, but that is a very, very like thick rubber seal in the clothing. So it still has some clankiness, clackiness because it's an ATV, but or a side-by-side, but you do have a really, really good seal here. So first of all, foot on the brake here, and we're going to have a push button start. So again, we've got the key here that is a typical Can-Am key that they use on a lot of their things, like the Can-Am Ryker uses that key, some of their Sea-Doos use that key, and of course now you have it in the Defender as well. That can be programmed if you have a Sea-Doo as well, or if you have something else that uses the same kind of key, you can actually program them to start multiple vehicles. So push button start here. Now, some people may ask, do you have to just tap it and let it go, or do you have to hold it down? You do have to hold it down to start it up. We're starting it up here. I am wearing a microphone, but I do want to point out it's very quiet in here, so I'm not sure how that'll translate on camera with the microphone. I am trying to zoom into the dash here. So some of you may be disappointed if you look at this dash. That's similar to some other lower end vehicles, but you may be less disappointed when you look over here and look at your 10.25 inch touchscreen display. This is taken right from the Spyders, taken from some of the snowmobiles, taken from some of the other stuff. And again, this touchscreen display really does work well to give you all kinds of information. There's a lot of things we're not going to show you in this, but you do have the ability to touch into various aspects here to get to different things. And this is hinting at some of the technology in here. So what you have here are 2 buttons. You don't have to use a touchscreen. You can use some buttons down here. You have drive modes and engine modes. So keep in mind how this thing puts power to the ground. Can-Am has that unique Visco lock type system where they can sort of lock the front wheels in place. So what you can do here is the engine mode just changes the engine character. So you can go through sport mode, work mode, normal mode, that kind of thing. But then you also have the ability in your drive modes, which is what we have up on the screen right now, to search through sport, work, normal, custom 1, custom 2. And that can adapt how everything works as far as the drive system. So the 4-wheel drive system, that kind of thing. So you have 2 ways to control this. It might sound confusing, but it will make more sense, and I should probably do another video to explain some of that. So again, there's a lot of things you can do in here. The other nice thing about this is that you saw that media area right there. You can put your media onto this. It is Bluetooth capable, and it's nice to have that sort of clean touchscreen display that works very well. Now down here, we'll try to zoom in a little bit. You have your climate controls. Again, I'm dealing with a bright sun today, so I'm on some strange angles just to keep that sun out of the screen as much as I can. You have that climate control control. Again, this climate system is improved in several ways. It's improved in how it moves air through to the cabin. It's also improved in being more quiet. So it's not just the engine that's quiet, the motor that's quiet in the cab. It's also the fact that your heating and ventilation system and air conditioning is cooler as well. So if you don't want to do the touchscreen for everything, of course, you've got the buttons you need for volume, that kind of thing. You've got some controls on the steering wheel here, which can also control that. You can connect up your voice commands, that kind of thing. And then you've got extra controls here. So again, we're going to do a full control system overview in a future video. That would get this video to be way too long to go through some of that. But I just want to point out, you don't have to use the touchscreen. If you've got gloves on or whatever else, you just want to use the buttons on the steering wheel, you can do that. It's quite simple as well. Should point out here, if we put the windows down, the window does go, I'm guessing, yes, it does go all the way down, which is what the Defender has always done. So we're gonna go wide angle here, and you can really see that huge window. So again, with that front glass popped out and the window all the way down here, you really do have an open air feeling. But if it's hot, cold, whatever you want, you can put that window back up. You can see there's a mild tint to this. It looks like it's clear, but I don't know if you can see on camera. There's just a little bit of a tint if you look at the sky there. So that's a very automotive glass feeling, very automotive feeling overall. JL audio? Yes, JL audio. I thought I was going to say JBL audio. Should point out that you can put a number of switches in up here if that's what you want to do. You do have your windshield wiper up there, so you do have control over that. And again, you can see that strut over there combined with the handle over here for that. Now there's some minor storage in here, a little bit here and there. There are USB-C ports around. I'm going to be honest, I didn't check for where they are before we did the filming, so we'll check for that later. I also want to point out that the steering wheel goes a long ways up. It's hard to show that on camera, but if I look sort of straight up from it, you can see it's really tilted up. It also goes a long ways down. So if I was sitting in my driving position, I can almost see the dash over the steering wheel. So if you are looking for a comfortable seating position for whatever height you are, you will have no problems doing that. You've got your winch and lighting controls just over to the left of here. And we're gonna hop in the back for a second here. So let me just show you the front seats here. You do have the sort of cushioned front seats with good bolstering here. Again, that's going to help with that sporting. They are soft everywhere, which is what Can-Am does a lot on their seats to make it really cushy, give you a little extra suspension, but it also does keep you in place. Shoulder belt there, and of course, even the center seat here is nice and squishy. So let's jump in the back seats now. Full disclosure, I have not touched this door handle yet. I have not jumped in the back here, so I don't know how roomy it is. I did have the driver's seat where I wanted it. I do like that these are the sort of rear hinge doors that I think just makes it easier to get in. You've got the handle here, of course, so let's jump in for the very first time. Couple things I'm gonna notice right off the bat. Those rear vents, that's new for 2026, so you've got those down there. And I will say the driveline bump is not all that tall. It really does give you a lot of space. So again, I'm 6 feet tall, and I was just looking at the seat. Hey, it doesn't matter where you put that seat, forward or back. The whole panel is the same. So as a 6-footer sitting behind a 6-footer, doesn't really matter how tall you are, you will always have that much room. Let's shut the window here. You do have a old-fashioned, so you can still teach your kids how you used to roll down windows in mom's car back in the day. Let's see if that goes down fully. I think it would as well. Yes, so whoever's sitting in the back here does have the ability to manually roll down their windows instead of power, so they lose some fun, but not that much. And then over here, if we look across, just that bar across there, I would say the space here is excellent. Better than I expected for what, you know, what it looked like when I was just jumping in. But again, good space here. And as I kind of get the camera to focus, you can see legroom is still gonna be fine even in the middle seats, which why don't I just hop in there right now? So even though you lose an inch or two of ground clearance there, I'm still relatively comfortable here. The 6-footer is going to run into just being really close to the seat belt pole for the front seat there in the center seat, and that's because again that seat is a little less cushy than the outside ones. It places you just a hair higher where these ones kind of dip in, and then your knees are just a hair higher as well. So everybody else is going to be totally comfortable even if you're 6-footer. So if you're using this with a bunch of guys that need to help you, you're fine. There's the rear headrest, and we'll show you the top panel here as well. Some sound deadening type material up there as well. You do have a light up there. So there's your quick overview. One thing I'm not sure, I think this mirror is standard, but I can't be fully sure simply because they did say the mirrors were added. I don't know if that's one of the ones that were added. So before we talk about who this is for, we should talk about one more safety feature that's kind of hidden behind this bodywork, and that is the roll cage. We've talked in some other videos with some other brands how they have that ROPS, and I don't know how to say it. Is it ropes? Is it ROPS? I'm not sure how to say it, but the ROPS certification for the roll cage. all the Can-Ams have that. Not every one of the competitors have that. Some do, some don't. A lot of competitors will self-certify the roll cage for their unit, whereas the ROPS is an actual standard that's done by people outside the company, and that's what this one has as well. So just for general safety, of course, those safety belts, seat belts, that kind of thing, you've got that roll cage that's actually very good. So let's talk about who this Defender is for. Well, of course, we didn't really touch on the performance of this, and it really is a pretty good performing unit for the trail. You can really have some fun with it, you can toss it around, but again, it's also primarily a work unit. Now, it's just hard for me to say it's a work unit because it's so comfortable and is fun and tossable and fun to drive and fun to use in the trails that it really becomes a versatile unit. This one, of course, the limited edition, has a lot more options. You can tone it down if you don't want some of the technology in there, but at the end of the day, this has always been one of my top recommendations for someone looking for sort of an everything, do everything, and do everything well type unit. And of course, you can get it in the 2-door version, the 4-door version. There's lots of trims up and down that you can go with. There really is a Defender for everyone still, and when Can-Am says it's better for 2026, it's almost impossible to argue with that, because it really is taking what the old one did really well and just making it a little bit better again. So again, this is going to be controversial if the other people that I work with are talking or watching this far. But this is my choice for something in this category, something that allows you to do work and still have fun. It's really, really hard to beat. This new 2026 Can-Am Defender, this is the limited, the HD11 platform. So there's my quick overview, or maybe not so quick overview, depending on how much patience you had to go through with me, of this vehicle. If you want to know more, if there's things that you want me to go over in more detail, I would like to come back to this, talk about some of the technology, that kind of thing. So let me know in the comments below. Do me a favor if you made it this far, hit subscribe, hit a like, do those things that help out on YouTube, because the more you help this channel grow, the more information I can give you. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll talk to you in the next one.